Just wanted to record a quick story about what happened this morning. I was riding into work with baby on my bike, and I rode past a bus stop, and that's where a lot of the homeless people hang out. And there's a couple of gentlemen that pretty much live there all day, every day. And so this man, as I drove by, he asked me for some water, and that's a reasonable thing to ask for. I don't see this guy going anywhere. And I didn't have any. I had a little bit of pink drink in the bottom of my bottle, and I didn't give that to him. I said I didn't have any. So I drove, and as I rode my bike around, I found a place to ask the guy. They had a vending machine. It didn't work, but he said he had a fountain, so I filled up the water jug, and I went back because on my way, when I was leaving, I was reminded of the story of Jesus at the well. When the woman comes up to him and she asks for water, and he says, I have water that you don't know about, springs of living water you can drink, and your thirst will be quenched. Living in springs of water, you will never thirst again. And so I went back, and I had this ice cold water jug, and I told him, I'm like, when I was leaving, I was reminded of this story, and I told him the story, and he was intently listening. He said, thank you for the water. And then I left, and I was riding on my way, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, I got to give this man a water. Well, then I was reminded about some money I had in my purse, and I always tell my husband that one of the reasons, and sounds horrible, but one of the reasons I hate carrying cash on me, because I always give it away. I just do. If I have cash, I just always end up giving it away. And so I'm like, oh, I was reminded of this money I had in my purse, and I felt like he told me to go back and give it to this man. And I went back, and this is like the third time I feel like I rode. Well, actually, it's the second. I'm riding back, and I'm like, I'm trying to get to work, I promise, but I keep on having to come back here. And so he's like staring at me, and I just there's water dripping off the seat, and I'm like, did this man pee himself? And I'm like, this is like too much of the story, but this is really happening. I'm like positive he took this water bottle to use for like a bath. He just dumped it on himself to really rinse the urine, because I'm 100% positive he sits there and just pees himself. And so I reach in and I give him this money that I had in my purse, and he just went, literally, the face that I just made, that was like the face he made. He's like, thank you. And I'm like, I'm just going to tell you, just because. I'm like, it wasn't really me that wanted to give that to you. I just felt led by the Spirit that I was supposed to give to you, because honestly, I'd rather spend that money on myself. I'm just being honest. I'd rather keep my money. I work for it. But I feel like I'm supposed to give it to you, so I'm going to give it to you. And he's just like, oh, ecstatic. But it was fun, and then it felt great. Ultimately, it felt great, and it was just giving to others. I mean, this man is in a horrific situation, and I had the ability to help, even though I was going to be late for work. And that was one of the things that was in the back of my head. Oh my gosh, if I help this man, I'm going to be late for work. But how ridiculous is that? I mean, my job is street outreach. I work with homeless people, and I can't stop and do some outreach and help somebody out. So I had a little bit of a self-reality check there in the middle of all of that. But that was my crazy morning experience that me and Uriah, well, he pretty much slept through the whole thing. So